A very interesting couple of days. The Cincinnati Bengals have been busy as they are bringing back offensive lineman Quentin Spain on a one-year contract, and that's very important because he's the best or one of their best offensive linemen. And so losing him would be catastrophic in many ways because so much of their game runs off of him. Another guy returning to his team of the previous year is Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie played with Buffalo Bills last year. He is returning there on a one-year deal worth $1.15 million, $850K guaranteed. And now, some very interesting news as Josh Shaw, a name we haven't heard from in a long time, got reinstated by the NFL after 21 games of suspension. He was suspended by the NFL for gambling. What he gambled on was a mixture of things. He gambled on games, he gambled on in different events, and so him getting brought back into the league so quickly is very interesting. Are they convinced that he won't do it again? Are they convinced that, we gotta give this guy another shot? Who knows? All we know is he's got reinstated after 21 games. Hopefully he can drop the act and let's move forward. Kareem Jackson, a safety for the Denver Broncos, has agreed to a deal with the Broncos to return on a one-year deal contract. Now, everyone's like, well, he was a draft choice. Yes, he was a first-round draft choice. He had a fifth-year option that the team turned down, but then signed him to a one-year deal. It's very confusing to think that way, but that's just how it is. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Why would you drop the option and put it, or why wouldn't you just do the contract and then put the option on top of it? It doesn't make much sense. Something, though, that was expected to happen after it came out that he was going to seek a trade, the Steelers have released Steven Nelson, which was expected. It was expected that he was going to get released because he was seeking a trade, and it just didn't happen. So, most likely why they let him seek permission was because he was probably going to get cut unless he could get traded. And in which that did not happen. So, wherever Steven Nelson does go, another free cornerback that is very talented, and another cornerback that the Steelers walk as Mike Hilton also walked earlier in the offseason. The Raiders and Marcus Mariota are reworking a contract that is now 1 year, $3.5 million, which it has $8 million in go up to $8 million in incentives. The reason why is that his contract was supposed to be worth, it was a 2-year, but this year he was going to make $10 million. What ended up happening was the Raiders gave Marcus Mariota a tough ultimatum, which was take an $8 million cap cut or get cut and now have to go find a new team. Which the trade market for Marcus Mariota isn't very good. It's pretty dry now since the game on Thursday night when they went against the LA Chargers. We'll see. But he signed it, and so it's a 1-year deal. And he got it up from $3 million to $3.5 million, so there is some upside to his contract. But his agent played it very smart and said, if we can still get traded, we don't have a trade clause in there. So you're playing both sides of the. You're playing on both sides, but basically that's what they got to do. Jameis Winston was on a talk show as of Monday night, and was saying how Drew Brees helped him so much in his career, and it was that he said it was a quote unquote dream come true, which is a great thing to say. He said that Drew helped him out a lot, not just being a football player, but being a man and all that stuff. And it's a great feeling to have because you're getting mentored by one of the legends of the league. You know, that doesn't happen every day. And so, but then ESPN went crazy on this thing. They went and said, well, even if 5% of Drew Brees rubs off on Jameis Winston, he could be a good quarterback, or he could be a starting caliber quarterback. And it's like, you can't just let the guy have his moment. You gotta go drop stuff down, go and say all these things that don't make any sense. One of the guys, I believe it was Stephen A. Smith, said, well, then why would the Saints have gone and play Jason? Why would they go and play Jason Tate? Why would they go play Taysom Hill? Excuse me. Sean Payton said this. He said, if Drew Brees got hurt halfway through a game, Jameis Winston would go into the game. But if Drew Brees got hurt and was out for an extended period of time and he missed a few games, Taysom Hill would be the starter because they would have a week to work on stuff that he could do. So why did they jump to these conclusions that don't make any sense? It doesn't make any sense at all for whatever they were saying. Jameis Winston was just saying how it was nice to play and perform with Drew Brees. That's all he was saying. And he learned a lot from it. That's all he said. Leave it to ESPN to make a story even though there isn't one. Just the way they are. The way these talk shows are, they make a story that isn't even there. And this is not, like, this happens all the time. Like, where they kind of do this. I remember Dan Fouts was saying one time about when he was a rookie, he played with, like, Johnny Unitas was traded over from the Baltimore Colts to the San Diego Chargers at that time, and he took kindly to Dan Fouts, and he mentored Dan Fouts throughout his rookie year. Now, I know it's not Jameis's first year in the league, but this is like a dream come true. A Hall of Fame quarterback, pretty much just right there. Go talk to him. Pick his brain a little bit. Get some information. He'll teach you some things. Sammy Watkins had a multi-day visit with the Baltimore Ravens that supposedly went very well. And if they're interested, I'd do it if I was Baltimore. I'd make the move to sign him because don't let him go back to Kansas City. Give you guys a shot. You just heard what Des Bryant said a few weeks ago, where he said it was not it wasn't right for me. Make that different. Figure it out. Speaking of a team that hasn't figured it out, the Eagles have decided to sign Joe Flacco, which we'll get to in a minute. The Bengals have signed Eli Apple, the former Giants, former Saint cornerback. The Bears have signed running back Damian Williams, which the media says Super Bowl hero Damian Williams, and I don't disagree. I think he should have been an MVP over Patrick Mahomes against San Francisco because he did way more than Patrick Mahomes did. But it's neither here nor there. The contract for Damian Williams is a one-year deal, and that's all we know. The Giants have decided to sign Kyle Rudolph. as we know before. But there was a part when they checked his physical that they saw a nagging foot injury that has been plaguing Kyle Rudolph for the last 2 years. And that they would have never, the Giants may not have done the deal. They may not have consummated the deal. But they decided to, but it's in fact that Kyle Rudolph is going to have to get surgery on that foot. The Bucks have extended Donovan Smith on a 2-year, $31.8 million deal, $30 million guaranteed. Donovan Smith is a very important piece. He's one of their tackles, their left tackle, so he's very important. It's hard to find good guys at those positions. Here's some very peculiar news, as the Washington football team have, particularly Dan Snyder, has bought out all the minority owners. This was brought up about 7 o'clock last night. It was brought up that Daniel Snyder bought all the minority ownership, basically forcing the NFL to be like, you're going to have to sell. That's the only way we're going to be able to get him out of here. Because if they still had the minority owners, they could have, the guy, whoever would have bought the team, or if the NFL was like, hey, we're taking the team back, just could have bought all the shares of the minority owners. Now, they can't do that. It becomes more difficult because now Daniel Snyder would make a lot more money and would be able to sell the team for more money. So it's not great for the league if they're trying to push Daniel Snyder out. The Bucks have re-signed Ndamukong Suh on a 1-year deal. Originally said $10 million. It's $9 million, $1 million in incentives. The Pats re-signed James White on a 1-year deal, and that's all we know so far. The Cowboys won't re-sign Aldon Smith due to some personal issues that he has kept private. And it's been such a story for Aldon, so hopefully he gets the help that he does need, and whatever that may be. On some lighter news, the Colts have re-signed T.Y. Hilton on a 1-year deal worth $10 million. T.Y. Hilton has been with the Colts for the past decade, and he's been their best receiver in the past decade, so he's very important to the team. The New England Patriots have re-signed Lawrence Guy on a 4-year contract, and that's all we know. The Jags made a very interesting move in signing C.J. Beathard to a 2-year, $5 million deal, which means they're not probably convinced on Gardner Minshew. The Jets signed Tevin Coleman on a 1-year, $2 million deal, reuniting him with Matt LaFleur's brother. The Cowboys have signed a safety, or have they? They signed Jaron Curse, who was a backup safety in Minnesota, mostly on special teams. Played in Detroit, but was suspended a few times in Minnesota. Got cut by Detroit for going against one of the Detroit Lion rules. So we'll see what happens. It's a vet minimum deal. So the Saints have signed Nick Vannett to a 3-year contract. He was drafted by Seattle, played for the Broncos, signed with the Broncos, now goes to New Orleans. Washington football team is expected to host Adam Humphries, which is great. Flacco said he signed with the Eagles to compete, which is very interesting what Nick Sirianni has said. Andy Dalton was named quarterback 1 by Chicago Bears social media. Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn impressed at their pro days. And Caleb Farley is going to need back surgery. Now, Surtain and Horn, their fathers also played football. Pat Surtain played 11 years with Miami Dolphins and the Chiefs. Joe Horn played 11 years with the Chiefs, Saints, and Falcons. But what do you guys think? What, who should the Cowboys pick at cornerback? You decide.